having relevancy and competency, showing your physique, showing where you go, where you travel, and what you can do on your social media, is like, it's not just an advantage, it's your only shot right now, I think. I'm sure you've seen this before on TikTok videos, like especially older. I'm 46 years old, and people my age, they're like very anti-social media. They don't like when people pull out their phones at dinner, and I don't like that either. But it's one of these situations where, like, if you're a man, you kind of have to understand you need to lean into that. You need better photos. You need to show competency, relevancy, access to scarce resources. You need to show high status on social media, and when you do so, even if you're in real life, if your in real life game is a 10, but your social media is an 8, your social media is still scalable 100,000x to your in real life, so you can still get more women that way. Can you talk about social media and like how important that is?
Man, and it goes back to adaptation. A lot of guys do not want to adapt, bro. They want to do what has always worked, what they know best. They're super comfortable, super complacent. And I think that's the perfect point you just made. You have to lean into this. This is a new game. It's a global dating market. The girl at your job that you think is a 9 doesn't just have access to you. She has access to every celebrity in your city, every celebrity that comes to visit your city, because guess what these dudes are doing? They're DMing her when they come to the city. So you're now competing with the top echelon of men. Like you mentioned, you got to be able to show competency. You got to be able to show that you have access to things that will improve this woman's life.
Yeah. Being
an average dude will never work anymore.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to compete. You're going to get crushed. Like, you have to improve your social media. You have to give yourself a shot. And what hurts the most is I would say this and say this and say this, and guys will let it go in one ear out the other and then complain about girls.
Yeah.
And then whine, and then say, "Oh, well, women are this, women." I'm like, bro, you have to compete. Women are never gonna feel sorry for you. They're gonna always pick the best guy they can get. They're hardwired to do so. And if you don't want to put in the effort to at least put yourself out there, but don't complain, don't cry.
Yeah. I love this. Yeah, what I like to say is there's no middle class for men anymore on social media. You are doing things that are exceptional, or you look like garbage. And the thing is, what you'll find is that while that number of men at the top is small, it's never been easier to get there, because the number of men at the bottom are being taught the opposite of what is true. They're taught to express themselves emotionally and to be non-masculine. And so because they're being fed this, in order to get into this top echelon, this I could say 14% of, or 16% of men, is like outside of one standard deviation. This top 16% of men, in order for you to get there, you just kind of like don't listen to traditional media, you don't listen to Disney, you don't listen to a lot of these things, and you just pay attention to men who are successful with women, and you just find very quickly they have a path and a purpose, they are able to maintain boundaries, and they do the other things. We're talking about looks maxing here in a second. They show pre-selection. It's very, there's several ways. I'll give you one example. There's a guy, he worked at Excess. You've been to Vegas before, so there's a nightclub here called Excess. And all this guy did was put the artist wristbands on hot girls to let them go up in the stage with Marshmello or Diplo or whoever. This guy slept with more models than anybody I'd ever seen, because he had literal access to scarce resources. He would get the girls up there and then take all the girls up to the suite, wherever the DJ was afterwards. And I remember this. I remember talking to like the hottest girls in the city, and every one of them I knew had slept with this dude. And it was just one of these simple things where it's like, there's no middle class. There's no like a 5 dude doesn't get a 5 girl anymore, because that 5 girl, she uses FaceApp and Facetune, and she gets invited to the Maxim party, or she's at Bilzerian's. Well, Bilzerian would not let 5s come to his party, but you understand what I'm saying. They're not going to be invited. They're going to end up in Los Angeles. They're going to end up going to these big parties or whatever. And so what's happened is, women, because of dating apps, they left swipe. I saw this one statistic. Women left swipe 6,000 times for every one date they go on. The majority of women, if you ask them, say that they go on dating apps and they have no intention of dating anyone on those apps. And it's just like this massive waste of time. And I don't know if you've seen this other TikTok of this guy who right swiped 1 million times, went on 2 dates and had 0 sex. So it's like completely the opposite. Men right swipe 55% of the time on dating apps on average. Women right swipe 5% of the time on dating apps. 80% of men on dating apps are deemed to be unattractive by women. 20% are deemed to be attractive, and 4.5% are deemed to be so attractive that women would actually pursue them. Whereas the top 20% of men on dating apps are getting 83% of the right swipes. The top 43% of women are getting 63% of the right swipes. So meaning men see 5s as 5s, 6s as 6s, 7s as 7s, 8s as 8s. Women see 5s as 0s, 6s as 0s, 7s as 0s, 8s as 5s, 9s as 7s, and 10s as 10s. And it's just one of these situations where if you only deal with women in an unfamiliar environment, you're going to be left behind because there is no more middle class, which is like what you said before. Having relevancy and competency, showing your physique, showing where you go, where you travel, and what you can do on your social media. It's like, it's not just an advantage. It's your only shot right now, I think.
Bro, I'm so glad you just said that last word. Only shot. I don't know how we can get more guys to understand that. Like, you're not going to be able to compete. It is not, I'm telling you this because I'm hoping that you do it to maybe get options. If you don't do it, you won't get anything. All right, bro, there's a crazy study out there, like guys 18 to 30, like 60% of guys are single. Guys are not even getting laid.
Yes.
Guys are not even approaching. They're just giving up.
Yes.
Guys are giving up. I'm like, that's just making it, like you said, it's easier now for the guys at the top, the guys who are putting in the work to get even more. If you're a guy that dedicates yourself to say, okay, fuck that. I'm not going to be a loser. I'm not going to feel sorry for myself. I'm going to get in good shape, improve my looks, improve my status. You can conquer the world in terms of dating right now.